freedom just begun, living large under the sun.
Hi, and welcome to the SmartMAI Consulting Edge Podcast, where we speak with leading business consultants, advisors, and leaders on how to help organizations overcome challenges, navigate change, drive growth, and create measurable results. I'm your host, Dan Mulberry. Today, we're going to talk about service businesses. Many people make a great living running small service businesses, and the demand for skilled trade services is higher than ever. But many service businesses are also challenged to drive sustainable growth, plan an exit strategy, or create succession planning. Well, today's episode is titled From Chuck in a Truck to Exit Ready, Scaling a Business with Systems, Leadership, and AI. Our guest today is Chuck Staszkiewicz. He grew a one-person home service startup into a company generating more than $20 million annually before successfully exiting the business. Today, he and his sister, Dana, help business owners improve profitability, leadership, accountability, and operational structure through the Opus Golds Group. Well, Chuck in a Truck, welcome.
Yeah, thanks, Dan. Appreciate it.
So, Chuck, as we said, you were the original Chuck in a Truck. Take us back to the beginning. What did the company look like when it was just you, one truck, and an idea?
Yeah, it's really interesting. I used to get mad at that saying "Chuck in a truck," and then I'm like, no publicity is bad, right? So I'm like, okay, well, I'll roll with it. So because my name is so hard to say, right? Like everybody knew me as Chuck the plumber, right? So it just became a thing, right? And then Chuck the truck came later on. Chuck in the truck came later on. Beginning, Dan, was really it's like most home service companies that are out there, most trades companies. I was in plumbing, heating, and air for over 25 years, and I started out by moonlighting, right? Like barely graduated high school, found the trades, really dived into it. Got my feet underneath me and started promoting myself as doing side work, right? So I did that for 10 years or so, and then I moved cross country. I moved from New Jersey to Utah in 2008, and worked for somebody because I wanted to. I didn't want to. I was kind of burnt out from working a lot of hours, working for a guy, and then working for myself for years, and I just wanted to work for somebody, and that lasted about 2 years, and then they decided to fire me, which was, in my opinion, a huge mistake. I was constantly number top 4 of sales out of 15 guys in 2008, right? Where
Wow.
like people, it was not a great time, right? But I was constantly, in the top 4. And then they decided that they just didn't like my attitude and this and that. And I'll never forget it because it was the time in my life where I was the most leveraged, right? And my back was against the wall, and some people, when they get their back put against the wall, they like crumble, right? And I'm a fighter, right? Like I came out swinging really hard, and how my back was against the wall is I lost a good paying job. I was searching for the next job, right? Because I didn't have my Rolodex of people. I didn't grow up in Utah, right? Like I'd moved there. I didn't know anybody. So in New Jersey, it was easy for me to get side work. All my friends' parents and all that stuff, like everybody I knew, they were always asking, so it was really easy for me to get work that way. But so my back was against the wall I couldn't find a job making more than $16 an hour as a licensed plumber for over 10 years. Didn't have the ability to do side work because I didn't know a lot of people, right? And then the third thing that put my back up against the wall was I was about to have my first child. And I literally opened my doors in July of 2011. My daughter was born July 23rd, 2011. So that's how it started, really. It was one of those things where it's like, man, I've been doing this for 10 years. I've worked for several companies. I've worked for the small guy. I've worked for the big guy. I've done the side work. I've worked 150 hours a week. I'm going to go do it for myself. Because I can't find anything more than $16 an hour. I'm just going to go do it for myself. And I bought a $2,000 van off of Craigslist. And I was lucky that I'm a very good self-promoter. And everywhere I go, instead of introducing myself as Chuck Staszkiewicz, I was Chuck the plumber, right? And I had business cards, and that's what I did. I literally went out and I utilized all my resources that were available to me in a new area. I've been there for 2 years now. So I had a couple connections, landed one really decent sized job that kept me somewhat busy. I had a little bit of money stashed away for the, uh-ohs or just a little comfort, not much. It was like $7,000 or $8,000. And my thought process was this. I was like, look, if this doesn't work, worst case scenario, I'll go back and I'll find another job. I'm not I had opportunities. I had ways to get another job. Plenty of offers, just not what I was looking for. So I went all in, and to be honest with you, like, I wasn't scared, because I was like, look, if I make this much, it covers my bills. I'll still have some free time. I'll be there more for my child, this and that. And that was my thought process behind it. But what I didn't know was what was coming. Me and my daughter's mom, we had a separation, right? She was 3 months old. So this is where the leverage got even more. She tried to keep my daughter away from me. We weren't married. And in Utah, you got to, go jump through all types of hoops, especially as a single dad. And, she was using the system to keep me away from my daughter. Now, I made a commitment to be a dad. I wasn't going to be this guy that just sent money and never seen his kid. So I not only was starting a new business, trying to pay my bills, but then I had child support on top of it. And I had to, they forced me into supervised visitation because she came up with some crazy story, right? So now I'm fighting a custody battle as a new business owner. So right out the gate, I was in the thick of it, and life was still happening more so than, your average life, right? Like, I had my trials and things going on then. Well, I didn't sit there and become the victim. I let that fuel me. And it was really interesting, because every time she would pull something else and try to do something and try to meddle in me being with my daughter, the business just took off.
Interesting.
And it was like, the first 3 years were rough, because I'm fighting this battle. I'm paying my bills. I'm still trying to have a personal life and meet people, in the new area, and all this stuff going on, and run a business. So the first 3 years were rough. After that, it was like, man, something just ignited, right? And after 2 years, a friend of mine who knew HVAC came to me. Now, I was just plumbing, drain cleaning, boilers focused at first. He came to me, and he lost his job. His boss actually died, right?
Oh, wow.
So he was leveraged too. His back was against the wall. And he came to me and he says, I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know how I'm going to feed my family. And I said, I don't know either, but can you start Monday? And literally, Dan, he started, and we were just having fun. It wasn't work to us. We were just going out, serving clients, having fun together. Like, he'd go in and take care of something for HVAC and recommend me for plumbing. I'd come in and, do plumbing and recommend him for HVAC. And then we'd do jobs together. And then we hired some employees, and it just morphed, right? And so he came in year 2. Year 3, I started saying, okay, we've got a couple used trucks. We've got a couple guys on the road. I'm paying cash for everything. My cash flow isn't great. How do I really start to expand this? And that's when I started looking at lending, using other people's money for it. Once I did that and got a relationship with a private banker from a local bank, and then a leasing company and some other equipment financing things set in place. Once I did that, it was like holy cow, that opened up so many different worlds for me, because it was like I wasn't afraid of cash at that point. It's like, okay, I can take the cash, keep it, pay my employees. I wasn't spending really any money. Like, I was working all the time, right? So it was like, it wasn't my lifestyle that was going to hold me back. And I was in the truck. So, it really, after year 3, we hit 1 million at year 3. At year 4, we hit 3. At year 5, we hit 5. At year 6, we hit probably 7.5, 8. At year 8, we were, probably roughly 9 million. At year 9, we hit 12 million in revenue. And I can tell you this, okay? Again, I go back to being leveraged, just having fun. It wasn't a job. It was just, I was getting up and hanging out with a really good friend every single day. And we chatted a ton throughout the day and worked jobs together. And then the third one was, it was like, I had no fear. I had nothing that I was not scared of anything. I was like, everything is working, right? Everything that I'm throwing out there is working. I buy a new van, I put a new truck, or put a guy in the truck. I add a little bit more advertising, the phone's ringing, and again, I built my Rolodex up by going to community events, putting myself out there, and really, like, it took off like wildfire, to do 12 million in 9 years in sales. And I can tell you this, it was, people say, like, that they don't create a business, they create a job. It was very much a job at that point, even at $12 million in sales, because I had no structure behind it. So the catalyst that happened.
What triggered the change in your thought process to put that structure in place?
Yeah, so this is the best part of the story. 2020, everybody knows what happened then, right? COVID came along. And it was literally, sometimes, you can either go out and wake yourself up, or the universe is going to wake you up. And for me, it was COVID. And I had just purchased another company. I had 11 more employees. I had 75 employees of my own, and now I acquired 11 more employees. It was a fireplace company. We were tucking it in underneath our current company. I just hired my sister as, a very high, the highest salary I'd ever had, because she had a retail and corporate background, and I figured she could help us run the fireplace store and so on and so forth. And that was February. We closed on that deal February of 2020, hired her at February of 2020, and we all know what happened in March. So I'll never forget this day. I always said I was a plumber turned businessman, but I had something inside of me just from watching all the years. I'm a very, like, hands-on learner, just from watching the different places that I worked at and things that they were doing, and some of the books and stuff that I've read. So I had a call with my sister, and they were talking about the shutdown. And I said, okay, what's our game plan? It was a Thursday afternoon, and it was about an hour and a half long call. And literally in that call, we had what we were going to cut, what was necessary, what wasn't necessary, any jobs that may not be necessary. So we laid off 5 people, first time in 9 years that we were laying someone off. And we had, like, my plan was, okay, I want to triple down on marketing. I want to get some coaching or a mentor, and like, we're not going to wait on this. Monday morning, we're hitting deploy, and that's exactly what we did. Monday morning, I literally laid 5 people off. One of them was my dad. Wow. Because I did that on purpose, because I didn't want any of my employees to feel that they were targeted. But I also was like, look, I never wanted to lay anybody off, right? Like,
Sure.
So my dad was part of that. And we deployed as much as we possibly could. Then it started to mellow out a little bit. But the biggest thing that I did in there was find a mentor. We interviewed 2. We went to a couple different events, and I signed up with one, and we went all in with that mentor. We signed on with their highest program, and I started literally consuming everything they had in that program. I mean, I was involved with that program for 5 years, and literally I was doing 40 3-day events with them and consuming as much of their literature and their book suggestions and all these things, and asking a ton of questions. And that was the biggest catalyst. And from that point, so 10 years in business, we lost money that year, bought that new company, COVID was going on, doubled down on everything else. We lost about 500,000 that year. So we went from negative 4% profit in 2020 to we bounced back 2% profit the next year. The following year, I think we hit 8% profit, and then 2023 we were trending for 18% profit.
That's amazing.
At $22 million in revenue.
Well, I'm going to jump ahead a little bit here. First of all, just an observation. My first thought was that guy that let you go is probably kicking himself now, but at the same time, that was probably a life-changing event for you, that you came out on the other side way ahead of where you would have been if you just stayed in your safe, regular job.
Yeah.
So, it's amazing how events in people's lives that seem negative at the time can actually end up being a positive that changes their whole trajectory. And I think obviously that's what happened with you. So you built the company, you created an exit strategy, and you exited, and you got the company up to $20 million, which is amazing.
Yeah.
Now you're working with other clients and advising them on how they can do something similar with their business. Talk to us about your approach with your clients, what you focus on when you go in to see them, what numbers you're looking at, and that kind of thing.
Yeah, so there's, the term coach has gotten such a bad rap. So I don't consider myself a coach. I really do consider myself a mentor. I have lots of conversations with people that aren't clients, right?
Mm-hmm.
I talk to a lot of business owners throughout the week, just because it's a passion of mine. I remember, the struggles from going that fast, right? It was yesterday, it wasn't that long ago. It was 2023 is when I sold, so 3 years ago. And I remember the 12 years very fresh, right? It's very fresh. So my purpose now is to help at least one business owner get unstuck every single day. As long as I can do that, I feel fulfilled, right? I went through a major identity shift from being a plumber for all these years to being a business owner to selling the business. And now my purpose is helping business owners. How I do that, Dan, is not everybody's a fit for me, right? I'm not out there looking to get thousands or tens of thousands of clients, right? I'm not out, promoting Facebook ads, any of this kind of stuff. It's a very select few that I will work with because my time is limited. And I want to make sure that I can make a difference in their business. So I ask lots of questions. I've actually let clients go because they weren't a fit, and they were coming with the same problems week over week and not taking any action behind it. And I just said, look, I don't need you to cash your check every month. I need your business to succeed. That's why I'm here. And so that's really, really what it is. It's a detailed approach, and I get in and I ask lots of questions about what's going on in their business. I start to look at patterns and habits that the owners have and what they're doing. And I try to identify where we can make small shifts that will make a big impact in the business, right? I also always lead with look, I'm not don't think that this is a magic pill. You're not going to take this and your business is going to just be fixed tomorrow. This is a commitment. It's going to take some time depending on where the business is at and size and all that stuff. And I really do go at it at that approach. I don't look at it as every business is similar, but not every business is the same, and they're not in the same place in their journey, right? So I work with companies doing $1 million all the way up to $100 million a year. What I love about it is it helps me stay relative. Like all the AI and technology stuff that's come out in the last 3 years, like it really has helped me stay interactive with that and help people deploy that stuff because I look at it like this, like the I didn't stop when I sold the business. I just started working with other businesses, right? So it's like I still have owned a business this whole time. So it's really interesting because I take it as the approach of, okay, if I was still running my plumbing company today, how would I be implementing these things today and using this technology to go further even faster, right?
What are you saying on that front, Chuck? Obviously plumbers, HVAC, electricians, all of those service companies, they actually collect a lot of data and manage a lot of data.
Yeah.
How are you seeing AI deployed? Is it in helping to manage the data, doing analysis of their business, automating processes? What trends are you seeing?
Well, I think I think it's confusing some people
Sure.
and distracting them, honestly. I think we're at a time, Dan, and I'm all for AI, right? Like I'm not beating it down or anything, but I think we're at a time where, I mean, let's face it, humans are lazy, right? We're lazy creatures, and I think this technology can make you even lazier and help and stop you from thinking, right? That's where I try to help my people that work with me to use it differently than that. Like, don't let the machine think for you. Think for the machine, and that is really what I'm focusing on. So, like, don't look for the AI to give you the ideas. Give the AI your ideas and enhance your ideas, and that's where I'm seeing a lot of success with that. Um, some features that I really like, and it depends on the area. Like the rural guy out in the middle of Tennessee or Michigan, if he implements an AI call center, his clients are going to be a lot different than the people that are in California and New York,
Mhm.
right? They're going to respond to that AI call person or machine different than um, someone in the city areas. So we're looking at that data too, and the ones in the city are having a lot more success. But here's the thing: is people forget it hasn't been that long. Home services has changed over the last 20 years. 20 years ago, you would call, 10 plumbing and HVAC companies, and you would get a voicemail
Mhm.
or an answering machine. There was no call center. There was none of this stuff, right? So, like, it's morphed into these call centers, live people, scheduling, this and that, right? Like people have gotten used to the convenience, and now it's going back to it's a machine, but it's still a machine that's booking you and doing all these things. So we're in a little bit of a shift right now, where some people love it, some people don't, right? I do like. I mean, there's a few really good technology out there like Broccoli AI as a
Mhm.
call source. You get on with one of their demos, you cannot tell the difference. You really can't. So I think we're very close to it shifting faster, right? But there's still some resistance there. And again, I feel that if people can use this as to enhance their own thoughts and their own vision, they'll go far and fast. If they use it to try to get thoughts, they're just going to become generic, just like everybody else that's trying to get thoughts from the AI.
So I'm seeing more and more adoption, of course, of virtual assistants and automated customer interaction, customer service, texting, qualifying potential customers. Are you seeing it being used internally for things like enhancing training for the employees or um, recruiting, anything of that nature?
Yes and no. I don't. Again, there's a lot of these new things coming up. Like, I mean, I think I've met with 3 people in the last month that say I have this awesome robust back-end program that you can connect to your trades company, and it's going to give you all this data and this and that. And it's like, okay, you're one of 3 that I've met with this month. What makes yours different, and why is it better? Again, I go back to, there's so many distractions, right? I just saw on Facebook, literally before we got on this call, somebody's putting out an inventory management AI tool, right? Like all these people are like, oh man, I've had success with my plumbing and trades company, and I'm going to go after what they think is the easy money and get a program or an app, right? Like all these AI tools are just like apps, right? Like everybody's trying to come up with the next fancy app. What I see is honestly, it's a big distraction. Like if you want to be successful right now, stop with all the distractions. Find one thing, right? Don't hire 5 mentors. Hire one mentor. And go all in with that mentor. Just like the tool, right? Like CRMs are essentially like an AI tool, right? Like it's an app, it's a program that enhances your trade business. Like I don't know that many people that are still doing pen and paper, but there still are companies out there doing pen and paper. And I started out as pen and paper, right? And then I went to a CRM. And it was a basic CRM, but I learned that, and I learned to use the tablet and the phone to do, estimates and signatures and financing and all that stuff. That's where I feel people are trying to do too much, and they're trying to grab onto that magic pill. Oh, this is the thing that we're going to need. And I've literally worked with companies that I go in and I'm like, you're paying for 7 different things that all do the same thing. Why not get rid of 6 of them or 5 of them and focus on the 2? You're going to save a whole bunch of money, and then you're going to utilize that, and you're going to be able to use that technology to its fullest. You're only using 10% of this one, 5% of this one. Like, stop. Slow down a little bit. You don't need another magic pill. Like, you've got to really focus in, get this tool dialed in to 80%, and then see if you need another tool, right? That's what everybody's doing right now, in my opinion, and what I see is they're getting things to about 10%, and they're saying, oh, this isn't working, let me add another one, let me add another one, let me add another one, and they all go to about 10%, and they're not communicating, and it's just creating confusion. So
interesting. Well, let's shift back to your goal in helping businesses, which in many cases is establishing that exit strategy.
Yeah.
A lot of business owners want to build something substantial and successfully exit the way you did. When a potential buyer examines home services companies, what creates the real value beyond the revenue?
How well the business can run without the owner. That's number one. Because they're not, unless you're going to stay on and be the operator, which I don't know about you. I don't work well for someone after working for myself for as long as I did. But that's really like, unless you're going to stay on and be the operator, they want to know if they remove you, how well is this business going to do? Is it going to go in reverse? Is it going to go forward? And they want to see what your vision is, right? Like, we didn't sell them just on what we were doing. We sold them on what we were going to do over the next 2 years, 5 years, 10 years. Like they knew our projections. We gave them a lot of information. That was part of it. The other thing too is it really breaks my heart to watch all these, business owners. They get some success, and just like me at year 9, where I was, if COVID didn't happen, I don't know where I would be today. I might have been bankrupt and out of business. But I see a lot of these business owners, they've created themselves a very low paying job for the amount of hours that they work. I don't know about you, but for me, I didn't sleep if something wasn't done. I'm just one of those people. I have to make sure things are done, or I just don't move on, right? So, and I think a lot of business owners are that way, and it makes me sad. So, the best advice that I could give would be you're going to exit your business no matter what. You're either going to die, you're going to leave it to family, or you're going to sell it. So why not set it up that way? Like it's going to exit. Like you don't want to hand your family the same headaches that you have, right? So if you run your business like you're going to exit one of those three ways, you're going to run it the best way possible, and you're going to look at it differently and find things and put in systems and processes and really build an amazing company versus a job.
So as investors look to buy these businesses or new operators looking to buy it,
Yeah.
in that industry or in that niche, do investors value AI being a part of the business, or do they really just focus on the results of that AI, of the company being more efficient or being able to reach more clients or better customer service, whatever that result is?
That's an interesting question, Dan. I thought I had a few departments that were, they were very profitable. We're talking 35, 40, 50% profit. And the company that bought me came in and shut them down. The companies, these investors out there, they have a model, right? Depending on what their model is, that's what they're going to focus on. It doesn't matter if you're making crazy profits on things. They'll come in. If it doesn't fit their model, they're going to slice it. I don't know why that is. I think it's just that they are hyper focused on certain areas in their model, and they don't want to deviate away from that, which I do think that's a very good strategy. The other part is, I think, depending on the group or the investor that comes in. Now, if you have somebody that's going to come in and invest with you or invest into your company and have you stay on as an operator, I think AI and what you're doing and the way you're thinking in that business is very important, right? Like there's what I see is two types, right? There's either you're going to stay on as an operator and they're going to tuck you into whatever platform model that they have, and you're going to collaborate with other owners. The other one is you're going to be removed from the business completely, which is what I did, and they're just going to roll you into their corporation. And then they have their, regionals and heads and all that other stuff. There are some smaller private investors that are buying multiple companies, and I think that's where they're really leaning heavily on operators. There's quite a few people out there looking for solid operators, and I've heard actually that the EBITDA has went down significantly. I think they're going after companies doing at least a minimum of $250,000 profit or EBITDA right now, which is surprising to me because when 3 years ago it was $1 million.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And now I think that the pool has gotten smaller, right? So that's why they've opened it up. So
assuming that an owner's exit strategy is not dying, how far in advance should they be planning for that exit strategy?
Oh, day one, honestly. I look at what I did the first 9 years. If I would have implemented things just a little bit earlier, I would have been at 40 million, 60 million, 100 million. I was running the business like a true mom and pop shop for the first 9 years. After that, that's when I got serious about it and I came up with an exit strategy. And at first it wasn't to sell the business, it was just to clean it up, right? And get my time back. Like I was working 100 plus hours a week. So that's the other thing too, is like you don't have to have this exit strategy to sell it or leave it. Like it may just be to give you some sanity in your time back and actually work 40 or 50 hours a week instead of 100 and not get a good paycheck. Like clean your business up no matter what. It'll be exit ready.
Well, Chuck, listen, this has been great. As with most of my guests, I could go on and on with you. We could do another hour, but I do have a time constraint. Really appreciate you joining us. If people want to talk to you, reach out to you and find out more about your services, how do they contact you?
Yeah, the best way, Facebook, Chuck Staszkiewicz. You probably have to look at how to spell the name. You can also reach out to me through our website, chuck@opusgolds.com. or go on to our website, opusgolds.com, opusgolds.com. There's a calendar link right on my website. You could book a free 1 hour strategy call with me. I'll come in and see what your business is doing today. No pressure. Like, I don't know if you'd be a fit, and you don't know if I'm going to be a fit, but like just to pick my brain and evaluate your business where it's at today and where you want to go.
Perfect. Well, thank you again. And everyone, thank you for watching today. And Chuck, have a great rest of your week.
Thanks, Dan. Appreciate it.